Good day, my name is Noel Lorenzi Medina from BS Criminology 301R, and today we are going to talk about the types of evidence. And before we proceed, what is evidence? It is something that tends to establish or disprove a fact. Evidence can include documents, testimony, and other objects. So in short, evidence yun yung ginagamit para may mapatunayan na isang bagay o isang pangyayari. Now, there are different types of evidences, and you might be familiar with the fundamental ones that are familiar within the field of criminology. We have testimonial evidence and physical evidence. Testimonial evidence is the things that are said in court, and then the physical evidence would be the tangible items that prove some material fact. So, yung mga gamit mismo. But today, we are not going to talk about those two things. Today, we are going to talk about physical evidence or object evidence and documentary evidence. Object or real evidence and then documentary evidence. So first, object evidence does not refer to the perception of the witness for that specific evidence. It is not the reconstruction of past events related by a witness on the stand. Real or object evidence is not the verbal description of something. It is in fact the real object itself, as the name suggests. So, an object or a real evidence is the tangible thing itself, or something that exists, and not something that is under the perception of others. So, object or real evidence appeals directly to the senses of the court. So, a good example for this would be a knife. So the knife is the object evidence itself, and not the perception of a person dun sa knife. So if the knife is sharp, the object evidence is the sharp knife, and not the perception of a witness that the knife is sharp or the knife is dull. And as we have mentioned, object or real evidence appeals directly to the senses of the court. So it does not only limit to things that you can hold, it limits to your senses. So it's something that you can see, it's something that you can smell, it's something that you can hear. So music is an example of object evidence. Physical evidence is a mute but eloquent manifestation of truth, and it ranks high in our hierarchy of trustworthy evidence. So compared to testimonial evidence, mas malaki yung bearing ni object evidence kasi nandun na siya mismo. It's the material thing itself, and it trumps over the opinion or the perception of others. So if a testimony describes an object as something, and then napatunayan ng bagay itself na hindi, mas paniniwalaan yung object evidence, mas may weight siya, mas may power siya. So for it to be used in court, it must be relevant to the topic, it must be competent, kailangan nandun siya. It must be authenticated as well, which is why we have different experts and witnesses in court to authenticate or to assure that that specific object or real evidence is indeed involved in the crime or the case. So kahit na object or real evidence is or has more bearing than a witness's statement, kailangan it has to make its way to the witness's statement, or kailangan nandun siya sa investigation. Kasi if the real or the object evidence is not mentioned, then it has no power to be present in court. So even though a perception is less powerful than the object evidence, kailangan mabanggit pa din siya ng witness or masama siya dun sa case for it to be used in court. Next naman, we have the documentary evidence. Contrary to the name, documentary evidence does not exclusively refer to written evidence. So it's not only limited to documents itself. Although documents is a documentary evidence, they may refer to any material objects as long as the material contains letters, words, numbers, figures, symbols, or other modes of written expression and offered as proof of their content. So kunwari, resibo, o kontrata, or title, those are documentary evidence. However, do not confuse documents as object evidence with documents as documentary evidence. Kung ang kailangan ng dokumento ay title or contract to be presented, kunwari, ang kailangang mapatunayan is the contract exists. So if we present the contract in court, it is not a documentary evidence since the existence is in question. the document itself is an object evidence, not a documentary evidence. So what is included sa documentary evidence? Sanity writings or any other material containing modes of written expression. So again, do not confuse those two things. Object or real evidence is the object itself that is more powerful than a testament. And on the other hand, documentary evidence is a written material or material that contains written expressions. That's all. Thank you.